I got hired at Ashridge General Hospital in the fall of 1997. It wasn't a glamorous place. A squat, brutalist concrete block tucked in the forest edge of a dying town in upstate New York. The kind of hospital that never updated its carpets, never replaced the buzzing fluorescent lights, and still used paper logs for backup, even though they had an intranet system. I was 26, fresh from certification, burnt out already. They needed night shift help. No one wanted the night shift. I figured I could handle it. Fewer patients, fewer doctors, breathing down your neck. I liked the quiet, at least at first. It was the kind of quiet that helped you think, helped you forget. My floor was general care and post-op recovery. 10 rooms, usually 4 or 5 patients per night. I'd do rounds every hour, keep track of vitals, push meds, and fill in whatever paperwork day shift left behind. I had 2 coworkers, Amanda, a sharp, no-nonsense nurse in her 40s, and Jared, a quiet, heavy-set man who never took breaks and always smelled faintly of antiseptic. They trained me quickly, like they were eager to get me to the point where they didn't have to talk to me anymore. By the end of my first week, I'd memorized the rhythms of the place. When the vending machine would clunk on, when the elevator made that horrible grinding sound, when the motion sensors flickered on with no one there. But the one thing I didn't notice right away? Room 209. It was at the far end of the East Hall, and no one ever went in. There were 10 patient rooms on the floor, 201 through 210. I kept my logs clean, but 209 was never assigned to anyone. It was always marked closed for maintenance. That didn't make sense. The lights worked. The door wasn't sealed. It looked just like every other room, bed, chair, vitals monitor, but it was never on my round sheet. And every time I walked past it, I had the feeling that the hallway was just slightly longer than it should be, like it was stretching. One night I asked Amanda, "Why don't we use 209? She didn't answer at first, just kept looking at her chart. Finally, she said, "We don't assign that room, and we don't talk about it. Just let it be." Then she left the nurse's station. She never brought it up again. About a month into the job, I was logging vitals when the system glitched. The screen flickered. The program restarted. When it came back up, there was a new entry on the screen. Thomas Alger, room 209, vitals listed. Stable. Normal BP, heart rate, 62 beats per minute. Notes, quiet, alert, compliant, all updated within the last 10 minutes and listed under my user ID. But I hadn't entered anything. I hadn't touched that part of the system. There was no patient named Alger on my floor. I rebooted the system. The entry vanished. I assumed it was a bug, but I couldn't shake it. That night, I passed 209 on my way to refill supplies. The door was slightly ajar. That had never happened before. I stopped. I looked inside. The light was on. Software, yellowed, old bulbs. The bed was made perfectly, tight corners, hospital style. On the bedside table was a clipboard. I stepped inside. The room smelled like dust and something older, like plastic and rot. I picked up the clipboard. It was a patient log. Name, Thomas Alger, date of birth, 1928. Admission date, October 12th, 1984. Room, 209, code, DNR. At the bottom was a signature, mine, written in ink that hadn't dried yet. I didn't sleep after that shift, just sat in my car watching the sun rise over the empty hospital lot. The next night, the room was locked again. Amanda acted like nothing was wrong. 2 nights later, I was charting in the break room when Jared came in. He rarely spoke unless spoken to. That night, he looked exhausted. "You saw 209, didn't you?" he asked without looking at me. I nodded. He sat down, spoke like he was reading from memory. Patient came in 1984, stage 4 cancer, died after 4 days. No family, no funeral, just gone. Room didn't stay empty though, not really. People started seeing things, hearing someone walking in the room, light turning on by itself, papers getting signed. Then one night, a nurse went in and never came out. I blinked. "What do you mean?" Jared looked at me for the first time in weeks. They found her 3 floors down, in the records archive. She didn't remember how she got there. She just kept saying one thing. that he kept asking for the chart, that he needed to sign out. They closed the room after that. That same night, my floor had 3 patients, all stable. At exactly 2:09 a.m., the power flickered. When it came back, all the monitors were offline. The emergency backup kicked on. Every screen in the nurse's station flashed a notification. Room 209, call button pressed. But 209 wasn't on the system anymore. I checked the hallway camera. The door was open. I walked down the hall slowly. The lights seemed dimmer, quieter, like the air was thickening. Inside the room, the bed was empty. But the vitals monitor? On, beeping slowly, heartbeat steady, 62 beats per minute. I stared at the screen, then I felt it. Someone standing behind me, breathing, close. A voice whispered, "You forgot to sign me out." I turned around, nothing there. The bed was empty again, the monitor now flatlined. And on the clipboard, my signature, twice. The final straw came 3 nights later. Amanda didn't show up. Jared transferred floors. It was just me. 209 was sealed again. A lock placed on the outside. An actual padlock, not a hospital standard. But at 3:06 a.m., the lights across the floor all dimmed at once. The fire alarm triggered for exactly 3 seconds, then stopped. And the intercom, long dead, crackled to life. One word, one name. Alger. I quit that morning, didn't even finish the shift. I didn't collect my last paycheck, didn't return my badge. I moved across the state, started a different kind of life. But Ashridge General still shows up in my dreams sometimes. Dim hallways, buzzing lights. The door to room 209 swinging open slowly, as if it had been waiting for me. A friend sent me an article last year. Local hospital demolished after fire, faulty wiring blamed. The photo showed the rubble, but in the background there was one thing that hadn't burned. A steel room number plate, clean, untouched. 209.